السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. My dear brothers and sisters, let's welcome you back to our Ramadan reminder series, and tonight is the night of the 5th of Ramadan, 1444 years after the hijrah of our beloved Prophet ﷺ, which coincides with the 28th of March 2023. Today we are going to talk about one of the concepts that we were taught when we were very young, about one of the virtues of Ramadan. That is, when the month of Ramadan starts, the punishment of the grave stops. The punishment of the grave stops until the Imam establishes the Eid Salah. So when the Eid Salah starts or finishes, that's when Allah Ta'ala decides the punishment to continue again or start again for the people of the grave. And that's one of the reasons the Muslims are encouraged back home in our culture to go and visit the graveyards after the Eid prayer, to make dua for them because the punishment has started, so on and so forth. So this question is, that's what we're going to discuss today. In the month of Ramadan, does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stop the punishment of the grave for the inhabitants of the grave? Is this true? Is it true that their punishment stops until the Imam finishes the Eid Salah? But before we go there, first of all, Allah created all the time and all the months. Allah is the creator of all the months. Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awwal, Rabiul Thani until Dhul Hijjah. Some of the months Allah has provided special virtue, and the month of Ramadan is one of them. And Allah is the creator, and Allah decides what virtue should be for which month. So we know a lot of virtues of month of Ramadan, multiple virtues. For example, we know that Ramadan is the month of Quran. How do we know this? We cannot sit and decide the month of Ramadan is a special and Quran is a special, so Quran should be revealed in the month of Ramadan. We don't decide these things. Allah decides it. How do we know this? We know this because Allah mentions in the Quran, Shahru Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran, the month of Ramadan in which the Quran is revealed. And that's why when somebody tells us Ramadan is the month of Quran, we believe it. Why? Because it's based upon something from the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Similarly, somebody can come and tell us in the month of Ramadan special, the doors of the paradise are open, the doors of the hell are closed. Now, this is a great glad tidings for the month of Ramadan. But we cannot just jump and accept the information. What we should do? We should ask, I understand this is great, but is it mentioned in the Quran? No, there is nothing mentioned in the Quran. So is it from the Hadith? Yes. The Hadith is Bukhari and Muslim. Hadith Abu Hurairah, muttafaqun alayh, very authentic Hadith. The Prophet said when the month of Ramadan starts, إِذَا دَخَلَ Ramadan, or Shahr Ramadan, فُتِّحَتْ أَبْوَابُ السَّمَاءِ, or the gates of the skies are open. Another narration, the gates of the Jannah are open. وَغُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النَّارِ, and the doors of the hell, in another narration, Abwabu Jahannam, the doors of the hell are closed. Now, we can for sure say that this is one of the true virtues of Ramadan. Now, Ramadan is the month of Quran, the month of mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, automatically somebody might, when they hear this information that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides the punishment of the grave to be stopped in the month of Ramadan, they might think that yes, it makes sense. It's a month of mercy, the doors of the paradise are open, the doors of the hell are closed. So it makes sense that Allah would treat those who are dead in a special way in the month of Ramadan. But this logical conclusion, although it makes sense in our mind, is not enough to establish this virtue for Ramadan. What is the question we should ask? Is this mentioned in the Quran? that when the Ramadan starts, the punishment of the grave stops? It's not mentioned in the Quran. Is it mentioned in authentic hadith? It's not mentioned in authentic hadith. So where did it come from? There are some narrations which are weak, like Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali rahmatullahi alayhi, he mentions in one of his book the hadith of Anas, that when the Ramadan starts, the punishment of the people, the inhabitants of the grave, are stopped. This narration is not authentic, meaning it cannot be attributed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, meaning the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam never said it, which means this information is a lie. It's a false information. It's a false information. And this brings us to a point which is in the media or social media and emails, all of these, Facebook and WhatsApp and all of these messages, we always get these bunch of information from people about Ramadan. Okay? And many of this information, it might make sense to you, but don't jump into accepting it. Verify. First verify, is this from the Quran or is this from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ or not? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like us to speak about the matters of the unseen without knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and there's so many verses, but one of the verses I would mention here, Surah Al-Jinn, Allah ta'ala says in verse number 26, عَالِمُ الْغَيْبِ فَلَا يُظْهِرُ عَلَى غَيْبِهِ أَحَدًا إِلَّا مَنِ ارْتَضَى مِنْ رَسُولٍ فَإِنَّهُ يَسْلُكُ مِنْ بَيْنِ يَدَيْهِ وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِ رَصَدًا. He, meaning Allah, is the knower of the unseen, and He reveals to nobody the matters of unseen. And this is one of the ways Allah has negated everything. There is no way Allah will reveal the matter of unseen except إِلَّا مَنِ ارْتَضَى مِنْ رَسُولٍ, except to a messenger whom He chooses. Messenger from the angel or messenger from the human being, which is the prophets. He would reveal the matter of unseen to the prophet, or He would reveal the matter of the unseen to the messenger of the angel. The angel would send it to or bring it to the prophet. And this is the way of knowing the matter of unseen. Okay, in the matter of unseen, so many things happen, but we cannot guess about it. We have to have evidence for it. This is the difference between the Muslims and the non-Muslims. The non-Muslims, they imagine religion. They imagine God. They imagine Jesus. That's why they have so many versions of Jesus, so many versions of God. Go to any culture, Hindu, ancient Egyptians, the Greek Romans, anywhere, you would go, these pagans, they have millions of gods because they imagine God. Muslims don't imagine God. They learn about Allah. And amongst the Muslims, it is only the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, those who take the way of the Prophet and the Sahaba strongly, are the people who are going to only verify and check and make sure that they would only spread the right information. Be from them. Because we all call ourselves Sunni. What is Sunni? Sunni means the one who follows the Sunnah. Is the Prophet's Sunnah is to sit and imagine about the Ramadan? Let me think. Ramadan, it's great. So this must happen in Ramadan. That might happen in Ramadan. Oh, this is not the way of the Prophet. Because if it is so, he would have done that. He waited for Allah to reveal to him. How did the Prophet know the gates of the paradise are open, the gates of the hell are closed? He doesn't know the matter of unseen. But Allah chose this information to reveal to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So if this specific virtue of Ramadan was true, meaning the punishment of the grave would be stopped, mashallah, this is a great news for us. We would love it to be true. But if it was true, it's a matter of unseen. Allah would reveal it to either directly to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ or through Angel Jibreel. And if he reveals it to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, there is no way but the Prophet ﷺ would make sure this information is related to us. And there is no way it is possible that Allah would not preserve that information and would reach us. The same way we know about month of Ramadan to be the month of Quran, the same way we know about the month of Ramadan that it is Laylatul Qadr, the night of the decree, that it is Khayrun min Alfi Shahr, the same way we would know, without any doubt, that this is the month Allah would stop the punishment of the grave for the people of the grave. But this information is not authentic. So there is no ayah, no hadith, nothing that proves that the people of the grave would be specially treated in the month of Ramadan. We wish it would be, but our wish and our claims doesn't decide what Allah should do or not should do. And in fact, we should be very careful, because when we spread this kind of message, we'll be liable in front of Allah's court on the Day of Judgment. Why did we speak about the matter of unseen without knowledge? Oh Allah, I love Ramadan. Yes, you love Ramadan, but you don't have a right to decide what Ramadan should be or what Ramadan should not be, because you are not the Lord of Ramadan. Allah is the Lord of Ramadan. And I give this example to many of my students that think about it. Somebody comes to your home, goes to your backyard and tries to fix it. They're planting nice trees, they're cutting the grass, but they don't take your permission. What you gonna do? You're gonna freak out. You're gonna say, why are you coming? What do you want to? Why? They say, oh, we want to do good. We want to add something nice. We want to delete the bad things. We want to change. It looks nice. They say, I don't want you to do this. Why? Because this is my backyard. So similarly, when it comes to Allah's religion, let's not try to add something. Let's not try to delete something. Let's not try to change anything from Allah's religion. Why? Because we don't have the right to do that. It is Allah's religion. Let Him decide and let Him reveal to us, which He has already done that. But we have this problem that we have the authentic information and we have a plethora of unauthentic information. When we cannot differentiate between them, this is when the people mix up and they just spread anything and everything, as long as it makes sense to them. And this is just one of the tip from the iceberg, as they say. One of the problems. There are so many information that are widespread about Ramadan, not authentic, not correct, lies about Ramadan. I'm going to talk about this more, but the main the lesson that we want to learn today is that we want to establish our ibadah, we want to establish our belief and our ibadah upon only authentic information. And this gradually, when you follow this and follow this methodology of Ahlus Sunnah in every aspect of the religion, you will see how the religion becomes so clear to you, how crispy to you, and how easy it is to search for the truth, and the truth will come to you as long as you tap in the right door. The doors of the scholars and the students of knowledge who carry this message, the message of the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and how to tap into that information, how to make sure that the information that we have is authentic, and we sift out all of the weak and the fabricated reports. And this is how you see the bid'ah starts. So that bid'ah of visiting the graveyard after the Eid prayer, it starts from this kind of belief. Oh, the people of the grave are going to be punished now. Let's go and make some dua for them. Now there is no problem of visiting the graveyard at any time. But to make this kind of a specific ibadah like this is what it makes it a bid'ah or an innovation. And as you can see, it is sometimes involves a incorrect understanding about the virtue of the month of Ramadan, as in this case we have established. So there is nothing authentic, just to reiterate, there is nothing authentic to claim that the people of the grave, their punishment will be stopped in the month of Ramadan. Also, there is nothing authentic to claim that if somebody dies in the month of Ramadan, Allah will not punish him in the grave. It doesn't matter when he died or she died. It matters what he or she died upon. If he died upon faith and the true belief and the righteous deeds, he will not be punished. He will be given the glad tidings in his grave, whether he dies in Ramadan or not dies in Ramadan. Okay, but if his deeds are based upon evil actions and his belief is upon evil action, it doesn't matter whether he dies in Ramadan or not dies in Ramadan or outside Ramadan, he will be punished in the grave. So it has nothing to do with the Ramadan. It has to do with the action. So all of these informations are not authentic with regards to the virtues of the Ramadan. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to open our hearts towards the teaching of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and to seek the truth as a truth, and to stay away from the falsehood once we decide that it is a falsehood. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.